Hello everybody, my name is Amir and today I'm guiding you through the tutorial how to get anybody loads into a finite element system. And as an example I'm going to use the Abacus interface for today. So as you see in the start of lesson 3 Abacus interface, you need a little tool that you can download from that link here. I've done it already, saved it on my desktop, and then if you go further down you see that the model, the standing man model is used for this tutorial. So I'm not using MMR version 1.3.1 as described in the tutorial. I'm using the newer version 1.6. and the anybody modeling system that I'm using is 6.0. So I have created a new repository for me here with the standing model file. So I'm going to load this file, this model now, and let's quick open the model view to see that we have a full body model in here. And for this tutorial we're going to look at the clavicle bone and export all the loads that are acting on the clavicle bone into Abacus. So first of all we need to define a local reference frame in the clavicle bone. So what we do here is we use this code, just copy it to make it quicker and insert it in the environment. So what we are doing in here is we're creating in the first line a reference to the segment of the clavicle in the right side, and then we open we create any ref node, a local ref frame in here, and if I reload this now, you will see in the model view that we have a reference frame in here. Here you see it at the medial side of the clavicle. If you are not happy with the location, you can move it here with the S-rel, or you can rotate it with the A-rel. But for now, let's leave it that way. You can play with it later on. As a next step, what we need is a mesh of this clavicle bone. So we have prepared one here, and you can download it, and we're going to save it in the standing model output. So if I go into my model again and look into output, I have now this prepared mesh in here. You can create meshes also yourself, actually by exporting a segment from anybody. So let's just zoom in here. I take the left tibia. I get, by double clicking on the left tibia, this geometry file in the model tree highlighted, and I could export it as an STL and then use some other tools to create a mesh from a STL. But that's part of another tutorial. So we have now the mesh of the clavicle. So what we need to do now is, in the tutorial it suggests to change some of the standard settings of this standing man model. So you could go into the mannequin file and change the posture. If you click here on mannequin, just scroll down a little bit, you have all those joint angles, so you can change the glenohumeral, so the shoulder joint angles or elbow flexion. For now I think I will leave it that way. And the tutorial also suggests to increase time and end step. I also leave it now, or let's make it a little bit quicker. So I use 2 seconds and 2 steps. So the tutorial says here now that we should include this AnyMAC output file force export class from the class tree. The class tree can be found in here. So we have all the classes in here. What we need now is the AnyMAC output file force. So I'm going to include that here, and by right clicking I can insert the class template. So we have it ready defined here in the tutorial. So first of all I give it a new name. It's called FE out. So I'm not placing it in this files in, I'm placing it in the output file, but I'm naming it clavload.xml. So I don't need that here. And for the Abacus output, we have everything predefined here. So I'm being a little bit lazy and I just copy everything here, replacing that code. So that's also not necessary. So what I've done now, so I'm creating a file in the output folder that's called clavload.xml. I'm using this previously defined reference frame, this local reference frame that we have defined before. I'm choosing as segment the right clavicle again, clavicula, and I'm using the XML format as on and the all segments in study on off as off, and I'm using here the reference frame as on. So by doing that I can load the model again. Let's close this here and I can run it again. And now the model finished step 0, and it's almost finished. So you see we have this XML file here and it's just increasing to 50 kilobytes. So if you look in here, you will see then for each force that is acting on the clavicle, the coordinate and the force and moment amount. So I can have a quick look in here using the notepad. And for example, so this is the whole file. It looks very messy, but if you just take one step in here, so we have, for example, force number 14, which is the trapezius clavicula part 3, so that's a muscle. We see that's acting in the position, so we have here the coordinates x, y, z, and we have here the force acting in Newton. So let me close that again. So as the next and final step is now we have to convert this XML file into something that Abacus can read. And I have the tutorial here. So if I scroll down a little bit further, I see this will be done with a any operation shell exec, so executable. So let's just copy that into my script, into my model. So what that does here is, so that's a shell executable named convert to Abacus that calls the AnyFE2Abq exe. So I downloaded this one before. So you get this folder from the link in the tutorial. So this is this little tool, and I'm just copying that into my output folder. So if I look in there, I have this executable and some necessary additional files. So this is my converter that converts the XML file into Abacus file. So now I need to specify the path. Where is this? And in my case, so I need to specify from my main file. I'm going into any output, into the output folder, and then into the AnyFE2Abq folder. So I need to specify where my exe file is. Furthermore, I need to specify where is my XML file, where is my output file going to be, and where is my mesh. So I'm going to change that here into the output folder. Let's copy that. Place this here and this here. So I'm gonna, so my clavload, my XML file is in the output folder. My output file for Abacus will be in that same folder, and my mesh is in the same folder as well. So I can load the model again by clicking F7. I run it by clicking F5. So we see it's doing inverse dynamics now. And we are finished. So I see in my study in here now that there's a new task, so that's called convert to Abacus. And when I highlight that and click on run, we saw that a little command window popped up, and then you see that the output file is created, and using that output and the clavicle, so the mesh file, you can open both of them now in Abacus and do a simulation of this clavicle infinite elements. If you have further questions, please feel free to go to our homepage anyscript.org. There you can find a wiki with more explanations, or a forum where you can ask us questions. Thank you very much. See you next time.